So something that the Chinese members prepared for us often were probably jiaozi. That's how you say it in Chinese. Or English, it's potstickers. They made a lot of different potstickers. They either boil them and then just eat them like that, or then they boil them, and more commonly, like what we're used to, is they boil them and fry them in oil. So they're like crunchy, they're delicious. So that was something that was really big because we taught a lot of people from northern China, whereas southern Chinese people don't eat that very often, or like Taiwanese, they don't eat that as often because it's something warm and like steamy. But up north, it's something that's very common. It's a very traditional dish. They'll eat it on holidays like Chinese New Year. They'll have potstickers. So whenever we'd come over, they would either make us potstickers if they had the time, which, you know, they're students, they're working, they don't always have time, but if we're a special occasion, we'd get those. Another thing that they really enjoy doing during like cold months, like fall or winter, is they have something called huoguo, hot pot, which is really easy, but it's delicious too. It's just a boiling broth of like a soup base. Usually it's spicy. And then you have different foods that you can throw inside the soup. Say, for example, meat, you can throw fish, vegetables, pasta like noodles. They even throw like shrimp or like slabs of meat. Anything you can think of, really. Lotus root, tofu, eggs. They'll hard boil the eggs inside. And then basically you do that and you throw your things in and then you just pick out whatever you want into a little bowl. They have a little dipping sauce, either made with like sesame paste or peanut butter. You just dip it in it and you just eat it. It's really good too. That's something that's really traditional. They also use that on holidays a lot. We got fed that a lot more often because it was easy to make and it was quick. So yeah, those two things were probably the most that we got. But then there's always like the noodles, the Chinese noodles. They love that. They love their rice. Love white rice. A lot of chicken dishes and a lot of weird stuff too, like chicken feet. They have, for example, just have slabs of cartilage. It's just like, if you can imagine like a square piece of jello that's just clear. They'll just pick it up with their chopsticks, like, it's pretty gross, pretty nasty. They eat that, they eat pig's feet, which I'm not a fan of. It's just like tendons and skin and hair, and they don't remove the hair. They eat bone. There's certain bones, like certain bones of the rib or whatever, that's just soft bone, they'll eat that. They'll eat, what's that stuff called in English? Inside of a bone?
Marrow?
The marrow. They'll eat the marrow a lot. But it's just different culture. They enjoy it a lot more than we do, I think.
What about dessert?
Dessert, they don't eat dessert very often, to be honest. But when we do have dessert, it's usually fruit. Fresh fruit. Or, yeah, honestly, they just have fruit. Oh, durian. The Asians, oh yeah. So while I was serving in Paris, we used to have this thing that we would do. We'd go to the Asian market each week, and we'd get a crazy fruit that we'd never had before, never seen before. So I remember one day I was with my second companion, and we talked to one of our investigators to ask what fruit we should get, what they suggest, and they suggested a durian. If you've never had durian, it's the worst fruit ever imaginable. You do not want to eat a durian fruit, ever. So, we didn't know that. We went to the store, we got one. They're probably about the size of like a small watermelon, about this big. They're green and they're spiky and like you can't like hold it without like hurting. You have to get like in a bag. But basically, it's really bad. So you chop it open and then there are different like pods of fruit, probably about 6 or 8 of them. And you just pull the pod out and it breaks into like 4 pieces or so, just like naturally. So it's like a soft fruit. It's really weird though. So like the texture and consistency that I would like use to explain it would be like, imagine if you grab a toothpaste bottle, you like squirt it on a desk or something, whatever, and just let it sit there for a day or so. The outer layer is going to be like kind of hard, like kind of chewy, and the inside layer is still going to be like gooey, right? So that's what it's like. You put that like pod into your mouth and you chew it, and that's what the texture you get. It's like chewy on the outside, creamy, pasty in the middle. Really gross texture. And then the flavor is even worse. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Bananas, tastes like bananas and like cinnamon and onions, and it's just really bad. And then it also stunk up our apartment for like a week or so. We kept the windows open, like an air current was always going through, but you could still smell it. So I would not suggest it. It's interesting, but it's not delicious.